Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be doing a tutorial on a modification that I'm going to be doing on this Series 9 Beth. Now, as we all know, her main problem is the stupid pegs on her hands. It's just ridiculous. You can't stick anything in that hand except for the accessories that she comes with. However, this figure here I have spare parts from, so I can just use whatever I want off of her. I'm thinking I'm gonna swap out their hands. I mean, like, it can't hurt, right? We know that this Andrea figure that I'm going to be using, she doesn't hold stuff too well, but at least she doesn't have pegs inhibiting. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I'm going to just do this quick swap over, and then we'll see if it looks good, and you guys can tell me what you think. So let's move on to the next process. Okay guys, now for this process you're pretty much just going to need a bowl of hot water. And then that's pretty much it. So I'm just dipping the figure's hands in there. As you can see, I have Batman helping me hold them in place so that just their hands are getting the hot water, making the plastic kind of rubbery. Now, after sitting for about, I don't know, 10 seconds maybe, it should be soft enough for me to pull off the hands. So, gotta be careful with these because they have tiny little pegs. So hold this together and then pull. It should free the hand. There we go. One hand down. You know, the reason you're pushing these two parts together is so that the joint doesn't come out with the hand. Okay, so that's her two hands off. Now we have to get our Beth's hands off. Let me make sure those hands are in the right position. There we go. Okay. Now, gotta grab this one in a sort of odd way because it's a very tiny hand. There we go. And there we go. Her joints are probably a little bit bigger. Let me see. Yeah, they're a little bit bigger, so there will have to be some modifications done. So I will skip to the modifications and see if the hands fit properly. So I will see you guys in a second. Okay, so I got her hands attached. And it was pretty easy. All I had to do was sand down the peg. So the problem is the hand part was too tiny of a hole for the peg part, and all I had to do was just sand around that until it was small enough of a peg to fit through that hole tightly. So as you can see, it works pretty well. It's on there pretty steadily. And this hand, just as good. The only problem is I would need to paint this hand because for some reason, I guess it was the hot water made the paint come off. And she's got clear plastic under there. Weird. Alright, but anyway, it seemed to work perfectly. The only thing is there's going to be more of a process because obviously those hands don't look completely natural on her body. I think it's because of the sleeve ending too soon. It needs to come down just a little bit further. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to cut a strip of paper, just very tiny, and put over part of the hand to make it simulate the sleeve, and then I'm going to glue that down and then paint it to match the sweater color. So let's see how that looks, and yeah, see you in a second. Success! Okay, so I did the process on only one hand, and I will show you on the other what I did, but just so you can see, it actually worked. It matches up pretty closely here, and the paper simulates what I could have done with like clay to sculpt it, but that would have been too much of a hassle. This works perfectly. It's held on there tightly, and it resembles the jacket or sweater very nicely. So I used just these paints here. It's Craft Smart and Apple Barrel, and then that's pretty much it. Just the crazy glue. So now we're going to have to get into the whole process, so I'm going to do this without talking just to make it easier on me, and I'm just going to show you guys how I did it. Okay, so And now we have the finished product. If you ask me, guys, this actually turned out pretty well. Let's take a look. So, as you can see, she is capable of holding other accessories, which is pretty much the main goal of what I was going for. She can now hold a machete in one hand, T-Dog's fireplace poker in the other, and other accessories as well. Let me grab something. Okay, so here I've got a nice knife of hers, which they felt that you could only have her holding if she had a giant peg sticking out her hand, whereas it's not true. Let me just get that in there. The hands hold stuff very nice and tightly, and I don't know, that looks good to me. There was no stupid peg. Like, let me do a quick side by side here, guys. Let me take the weapons out. Okay, here are the hands. Which one's more aesthetically pleasing? Take a look here. Big stupid peg sticking out, very odd looking. Nearly no thumbs for some reason. And keep in mind, whenever she'd hold a weapon, it wouldn't look like she's actually holding it. It would look like it's hovering away from her. Whereas, with these new hands, they look fine. They look naturalistic. I like it. And it looks better to not have the sleeve coming all the way down over the fingers, if you ask me. And then, the main point of doing all the paint on there was, the black would have just done it, but the gray tone adds a little bit more to make it look like it's natural with the sweater. So, I think that turned out pretty well. What do you guys think? And, finally, one last accessory to put in her hands. This is one that I really like putting in Beth's hands. It's a tiny little pair of scissors that I got from another action figure. There we go. So let's just end off there, guys. What do you guys think? Do you think it turned out pretty well? Do you think it looks dead on or not? What do you think? Anyway, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.